Good afternoon, guys. I've got discussion C for you. It's about title is America's hidden backbone. Caregivers face mounting financial and career burdens. So I'm going to go through those for you this afternoon for C. So please join me in the presentation I made for y'all. Give me a minute to set up, please. Okay, the title is America's Hidden Backbone. Caregivers face mounting financial and career burdens. Okay, so here we go. The growing caregiver crisis. Nearly 2 in 5 U.S. adults are currently family caregivers, and almost half expect to take on caregiving roles in the future. Despite this widespread responsibility, national support systems remain lacking, creating significant hardships, financial strain, and sacrifices. 56% of caregivers cite inflation and rising costs as their top concern. 42% struggle with insufficient retirement savings. A vast 95% worry about their financial future, with 51% cutting personal expenses to continue caregiving. Career impact. Many caregivers reduce hours, leave jobs, or dip into retirement funds to fulfill their roles. These decisions often come at the expense of their own long-term stability. Okay, emotional toll versus fulfillment. High levels of stress, burnout, and neglect of personal health were reported. Despite challenges, 80% said caregiving strengthened family bonds, and 72% were willing to risk personal financial security for loved ones. Okay, folks, that goes back to elders. Family takes care of their own, meaning family elders get care from other family members. That's the old traditional way. But if that doesn't have an option in somebody's life, the other option is hiring a caregiver out of agencies and that kind of thing, state funding, state hours for care, and things like that, things of that nature. So Just putting that out there for FYI. Okay, next page. Call for recognition and reform. Experts highlight the urgent need for policy changes, financial relief, and societal recognition. As the demand for caregiving rises within aging population, would you like me to explore how these trends intersect with frailty-aware or memory-friendly care models you've been evaluating? It could open up rich discussions around sustainable support systems, effective support systems for caregivers, blend emotional, practical, and financial and educational resources to ease the burden and enhance well-being. Here's a comprehensive breakdown tailored to the challenges highlighted in the article you shared. Okay, guys. Give me 1 second to change paper. Okay, core components of a strong support system. Okay, number 1, guys, for caregivers is respite care services. Temporary relief that allows caregivers to rest, attend appointments, or simply recharge. Options include in-home care, adult day programs, or short-term facility stays. Then there's peer support groups, safe spaces, online or in person, where caregivers share experiences, strategies, and emotional support. Professional counseling, therapists trained in caregiver stress and burnout can offer coping tools and validation. Flexible workspace policies, paid leave, remote work options, and caregiver specific benefits help balance employment and caregiving duties. Okay, we're down to financial planning resources, budgeting tools, consolidations, and access to government programs like Medicaid or FMLA reduce economic strain. Education programs, workshops, and online courses teach caregiving techniques, stress management, and medical task training. Okay, assistive technologies, apps for meditation, tracking, scheduling, and remote monitoring streamline daily responsibilities. Community-based services, transportation, meal delivery, and home modification programs support both caregiver and care recipients. Okay, frameworks that guide systematic support. Caregiver support frameworks. These include personalized care plans for caregivers' early identification of needs and coordinated referrals to services. Policy advocacy groups lobbying for caregiver recognition, financial relief, and workspace protections are essential for long-term reform. Okay. Then you've got practical tips for caregivers. Identify specific needs, emotional, physical, logistical, and communicate them clearly. Build a network of family, friends, professionals, and community allies. Prioritize self-care routines and set boundaries to avoid burnouts. Use technology to stay organized and connected. Would you like to explore how these systems could adapt for frailty aware or memory friendly environments? That intersection could be especially powerful given your work in aging, resilience, and smart housing. Effective peer support groups for caregivers offer emotional validation, practical advice, and a sense of community, whether online or in person. Here's a here's a uh, curated list of standout options, including one right in your area. Okay. Local support in Pennsylvania, Meadville, PA. Bridges Memory and Caregiver Support Group, hosted monthly by Westbury Retirement Community. This group explores topics like nutrition and dementia care using the 36-hour day as a guide, facilitated by Danielle Schmidt from Meadville Medical Center. It's a great space for education and connection. Online communities, Memory People, a Facebook-based group focused on Alzheimer's, dementia, and memory impairment, offers education, awareness, and peer support. Then we've got Working Daughter. Just a minute, I'll tell you about that one. Tailored for women, balancing caregiving and careers, encourages sharing strategies and emotional support. Caregivers Connection, or Caregivers Connect, a board community for caregivers of all kinds, spouses, parents, friends, offering inspirational and resources. Caring Bridge, Lets caregivers create private health journals and connect with others going through similar journeys. Condition specific groups. Alzheimer's Association, ALZ Connected, offers forums, local chapters for caregivers dealing with dementia related conditions. And then you've got for caregivers with clients with cancer, you've got American Cancer Society Caregiver Support provides both online and important in-person support for those caring for cancer patients. Then you've got Well Spouse Association focuses on caregiving for chronically ill or disabled spouses, offering peer-led support. Then you've got faith and community-based options. Local faith communities, many churches, and scenarios host caregiving circles that blend spiritual and emotional support. Mental Health America offers caregiver specific support for those navigating mental health challenges. How to choose the right group. Match the group to your caregiving context, whether it's dementia or cancer or geriatric elder care. Decide between online flexibility or in-person connection. Look for groups trained look for groups with trained facilitators or structured programs like Java, a group model, which enhances emotional resilience in senior care settings. Would you like help evaluating which of these aligns best with frailty aware or memory friendly care models that could be a powerful way to integrate your research into real world support systems? Effective caregiving support groups thrive on strategies that foster trust, emotional safety, and practical exchange. Here's a breakdown of what makes them work, especially relevant. Especially relevant to frailty aware and memory friendly care models you've been exploring. Okay, then you've got emotional and relational strategies. Empathetic listening. Members are encouraged to validate each other's experiences without judgment. This builds psychological safety and reduces isolation. Facilitated dialogue. Trained facilitators guide conversations, ensuring everyone has space to speak that that and that is sensitive topics hard to handle with care. Non cur, non-cure, non-cure format. Many groups avoid rigid agendas, allowing members to raise issues originally ideal for addressing real-time caregiving challenges. Shared storytelling, personal narratives help normalize emotions like guilt, anger, or grief and foster deeper connection. Practical and educational strategies, resource sharing, members exchange tips on medical care, legal planning, and daily routines, especially helpful in dementia or frail contexts. Guest experts. Some groups invite professionals, e.g., geriatricians, therapists, to offer insights on disease management or coping strategies. Condition specific focus groups tailored to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or cancer provide targeted advice and community understanding. Accessibility and inclusion. Okay, hold on. Hybrid formats. Combining in-person and virtual meetings increases accessibility for caregivers with limited mobility or time. Flexible scheduling, evening or weekend sessions accommodate working caregivers. uh, Cultural sensitivity includes language and diverse representation and ensure all caregivers feel welcome. Structural support, ground rules, clear norms around confidentiality, respect, and turn taking help maintain a safe space. Peer-led models, peer peer-led peer leadership models. Some groups rotate facilitators or empower members. To lead sessions, fostering ownership and sustainability. Respite integration. Groups may coordinate with respite services, allowing caregivers to attend without worry. Like, for instance, if a caregiver comes to training, they could send somebody to relieve her while she's at training for her client, so they're not without care. Okay. Which when somebody's without care, that upsets me. That makes me care about the person, that care about the client who's not getting care because their caregivers are training. So what has to happen, guys, is someone has to step in to cover for the caregiver that's going on training. That's the only, that's the responsible way to handle things. Okay. All right. So, would you like to explore how these strategies could be adapted to smart housing environments or adult day care programs that could be a compelling next step in your systems based work? Support groups are quite powerhouses in community health. They foster resilience, reduce isolation, and build bridges between personal healing and collective well-being. Here's how they make a meaningful impact. Emotional and mental health support, normalized shared uh, normalized shared struggles, whether it's caregiving, chronic illness, or grief. Support groups help people realize they're not alone. Reduce stigma. Open dialogue around mental health and caregiving challenges encourages acceptance and understanding. Boost psychological resilience. Regular participation is linked to lower rates of depression, anxiety, and burnout. Practical health benefits. Improve health outcomes. Groups often share tips on nutrition, medication management, and navigating healthcare systems. Encourage healthy behaviors. Peer accountability motivates members to stick with treatment plans, exercise, or self care routines. Delay institutionalization for caregivers. Support can help keep loved ones at home longer by improving care quality. Social and community integration. Strengthen social ties. Support groups foster friendships and networks that ripple outward into broader communities. Okay. Empower advocacy. Many groups engage in policy reform, amplifying voices around caregiving, mental health, and aging equity. Bridge service gaps. They often connect members to underutilized resources like respite care, housing support, or legal aid. Systems level impact. Reduce healthcare burden by improving self management and emotional health. Support groups can lower ER visits and hospitalizations, enhance public equity. Groups tailored to marginalized populations, LGBTQ, immigrant caregivers address discrepancies in access and outcomes, foster community resilience in times of crisis. Paramedics, natural disasters, support groups become lifelines for emotional and logistical coordination. Would you like to explore how these roles could be embedded into smart housing environments or adult day programs. That could be a compelling way to translate your research into scalable community-based innovations. Okay, guys. So that's C for you. I'll be back on in a bit for D. See everybody for D in a few minutes. For now, Gator Wellness. Take care, folks.